Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Friday, October the 2nd. News from Arkansas. Walmart, the big retailer headquartered in Bentonville, followed through with the expected layoff of a number of its employees today. It laid off 450 people in its corporate offices. These were salaried people, not hourly workers. It's a big savings for the company. Who knows, $40–50 million anyway. The company needs to get leaner. Its CEO said it needs to be more agile. It's facing strong competition from online competitors like Amazon, and this is part of a reshuffling to increase its earnings picture. Hearings at the Capitol this morning included a long session by the Joint Performance Review Committee of the cost overruns and ineffective work that's been done in implementing computer programs to handle enrollment and eligibility checks for people who receive Medicaid. The state is in the middle of a vast expansion of medical coverage services. These are very complicated programs. Legislators want to know why so much money has been spent, sometimes to so little effect. Not really any answers there if it's just simply a hard job, if there have been inefficiencies, if there perhaps have been some corrupt influences, but legislators are looking closely at it. As we record this, we're still waiting word from federal court, where Judge Christine Baker has under consideration and is expected to rule sometime today on whether she will issue a temporary injunction that prevents the state from stopping Medicaid funding from flowing to Planned Parenthood. She put a temporary restraining order in effect 2 weeks ago. She indicated she thought Planned Parenthood could succeed on the merits in this case of preventing the cutoff of funding. I know that Governor Asa Hutchinson, in a news conference today, is still adamant in wanting to end the funding and plans to end it immediately should the judge not issue an injunction. We should know by 5 o'clock today. Two presidents, former presidents, were in the state of Arkansas today, George Bush and Rogers, to raise money for his brother Jeb in his faltering presidential campaign. Bill Clinton spoke at his library this morning at the dedication of a memorial to Anne Frank, centered around a tree grown from a sapling taken from the tree that Anne Frank looked out upon when she was in hiding from the Nazis during World War II. Elsewhere around the state, there was a report today on state tax revenues in September. It's only slightly ahead of last year. Of course, income taxes have been cut. Sales taxes are up some. It doesn't look to me to be a recipe for spending a lot more money, for example, on highways and for more tax cuts. Governor Hutchinson said at his news conference today he thought the report looked pretty good for the state. We had some news out of Batesville today where there's been a long-running dispute over the flying of a Confederate flag over the Independence County Courthouse, a long-standing tradition backed by the sons of the Confederate veterans there. The quorum court in that county unanimously voted to fly the flag some weeks ago. A lot of people in the community didn't like it. Robert Griffin, the county judge, told me this morning that there's just been too much controversy. He took the flag down yesterday. He expects to hear some more squabbling from the quorum court, but he thinks the county shouldn't be in the business of flying something that divides the community. Sounds like a good decision. Lots of news on the Pope front today. The Vatican issued a statement this morning that made it clear they regretted the meeting that was held with Kim Davis, the law-defying county clerk from Kentucky who won't marry same-sex people. It appears to develop that this wasn't really a papal audience. It was a quick meeting with somebody that perhaps the Pope didn't really know the significance of who he was meeting with. The Vatican took pains to say this was not meant to be represented as a support for her viewpoint, that is, flouting the law and the Constitution of the United States. And then we also learned later in the day that among the people the Pope also met for a much longer period of time, in fact arranged by a personal phone call from the Pope himself, was a former student of his in Argentina who happens to be a gay caterer in Washington and who happened to see the Pope and have a very friendly session, videotape by the way, available on New York Times, with his boyfriend. So there you go. Those who wanted to make the Pope a symbol for Kim Davis's righteousness ran into a little trouble today on that. Heard of butt dialing, have you, sitting down on a cell phone and dialing the wrong number accidentally? Well, it happened in West Fork this week with a panic button installed on a teacher's phone. A child hit it accidentally. It put the school on lockdown for a possible shooter in the school. They learned that to notify law enforcement, you have to go through a two-step process, so the false alarm, though very stressful to everybody there, was a learning experience. These panic buttons are one of the things the legislature mandated for schools to have in their schools in the 2015 legislature. Cost $1 million to put this system into effect. This was the second false alarm of this system during the month. So be careful who you dial. Of course, a lot of people have learned that in other ways as well. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back next week.
You feel it in your heart. The spirit of Little Rock. We've had that spirit since 1927, helping build our city by producing decades of leaders in the heart of our state. We are the heart of business and innovation, the heart of politics and government, the heart of arts and culture, and in our city beats the heart of a Trojan. UALR, we are Little Rock's team and Little Rock's University.